Everyone good? Okay.
Let's start off with the integrity and ethics advisor. How much will these roles pay?
Don't know. I can tell you that hopefully I can get some more specific numbers for you, but I can tell you that these are part-time positions. There's a very modest retainer and an hourly fee that'll be paid, which is much less than an hourly fee that a lawyer at these levels would be paid. So there is some payment here, but both of these people are really doing this as a matter of public service.
So how independent can these, the commissioner and the advisor be if they answer to council and they're hired by council?
Well, you can ask the same question about the auditor, for example. You know, at some point, somebody's got to get paid by somebody for their work. But you know, council has very, very good processes in place for our other two employees, the city manager and the city auditor. And the interesting thing about these two positions in the Office of Ethics and Integrity, I think we're calling it in the end, is that it is a term position, that council and the candidates can make a decision on whether they want to extend the term or not. However, I know that the candidates, or I should say the successful commissioner and advisor, have been very interested in a short term and spending the first 2 years really defining the job and determining how it's going to be done and how it can be most useful to citizens.
How many people are on the short list?
Lots. We had a really, really good, incredible, in fact, applicant pool, really incredible applicant pool, and as part of the interview process, council or the selection committee recommended and council agreed that we would do something quite unique in Canada, which is to split the role up in two. Because one of the big concerns with the integrity commissioners in other parts of Canada is that it's hard for the same person to give advice, but also adjudicate complaints. And the two folks who we ended up hiring both highlighted that in their interviews. The interviews were fantastic overall because the people were such high quality that they actually spent the job interview as an opportunity to talk to us about how to improve the process. And both of these highlighted that there was a potential conflict of interest in the role. And we thought we would try something unique in Canada, which is to split the role up. It's very much a design-build process. We'll figure out how it works as it goes along. But I'm really excited that we may be able to set a template for other cities to follow. I understand this is the first integrity commissioner in Western Canada, but also the splitting up of the role into someone who advises council and gives preemptive rulings, if you like, and then someone who adjudicates complaints is something quite unique, and I'm pretty excited about it.
So the ethics advisor would be the busier of the two?
Yeah, one would think. I would hope that the integrity commissioner will never, ever have any work to do. But the idea is that council members can go to the ethics advisor in advance and say, you know, I'm thinking of doing this thing, is it a good idea or not? She can provide information and advice that way, but she will also have a public education role, both in educating council, but also in helping the public understand what ethical guidelines are required of public officials. And Professor Woolley, this is actually her career. She's really worked hard on She's really worked hard on ethical issues in professions, and I can't imagine a better person for this role. And by the way, she's not related to Councillor Woolley.
Will the integrity commissioner be looking at past indiscretions or complaints?
If anything's closed, obviously not. One of the issues is whether there are still any open files sitting with the whistleblower's office and how those will be transitioned, and that hasn't quite been decided yet. As you may have heard, the person who ran the whistleblower office tragically passed away a couple of weeks ago, so we're just sorting that all out.
Shane Keating kind of brought up Southwest BRT and having these meetings back. What do you think is the time?
Well, let's have the meeting on April the 20th and see how things go. It's really interesting that, again, we haven't heard from any members of the preeminent citizen group that anything has gone wrong in the thing. But, you know, if people have said before, on April 20th, if people are more than welcome to come, and I encourage them to come, but they have to be respectful, they have to keep to the issue at hand, and they have to keep politics and what they want to do in 2017 out of it. If that happens and all the questions are not adequately answered on the 20th, and we want to do a more focused session where I can be assured that city staff will be safe, I don't have a problem with that. The real issue, though, is the questions that are being raised are all questions that I hope will be answered on the 20th. Questions around the budget, around the natural gas pipeline, and so on. And the answer always has been, we're working on it. But for a small subgroup of people in the Southwest, the answer, we're working on it and we have answers for you, has not been good enough. So hopefully the answers will be good enough when they come out. Do I look like a political pundit to you?
Practicing for the future.
No, the past. It's what I used to do for a living. I will be very interested to see the reaction of the Alberta NDP to the federal party's decision.
Why should people answer the doors? Why should people answer the doors to the city census takers?
Oh, thank you. Yes, the online census is now closed, and the door, is it closed today, Darcy, or is it closed already? I can't remember if today's the last day or not.
Already, I believe.
By the time they see it, it's supper time. Anyway, if you have, it starts today. Thank you. I couldn't remember if it was today or tomorrow. So yes, it's very, very important that we get accurate information from the census. Thank you to all of the citizens who answered the census online already. And for those who did not, you will have a door-to-door census taker come to your door. It's really, really important for us to have accurate data on the questions on the census for many reasons, the most basic of which is we got to have the numbers right in order to get the right grant funding from the provincial and federal government. So the more people we have living here, the more funding we get. So please make sure that if you haven't filled out your online census, that you answer the door when the census taker comes.
And we need to go.
On Chinatown, very quickly.
Sure.
Should Chinatown supporters be happy with what council did today?
Yeah, absolutely. This was the compromise that was come through a lot of hard work by Councillor Farrell and others with members of the community as well as with the applicant. They've got a lot of work to do between now and the end of the year. I don't know if we'll be able to come to a consensus by then, but certainly no one will be able to say they weren't consulted.